Many thanks again for staying with us on the show, TMI. And big thanks to Joseph Kadri and Dominic Kanyemese. And Jiffy will be back with them to get a conversation on the issue of multiple taxation, which is a common problem in Nigeria. You have several layers of taxes being paid by individuals, from the local government through the state government to the federal government. And sometimes is a major problem that business owners are contending with, and also, in a sense, increasing their cost of production. So we'll link up with them for that conversation. And now from our Benin Network studio, we're looking at countdown to handover date, May 29, and some of the matters that has coming forth. And one of the major issues that has been on the front burner in recent times is the jostle for leadership position in the National Assembly. We also have, joining us from UK, a politician, public affairs commentator, and an analyst. I'd like to thank very specially Honorable Pius Alile. Pius Alile, Barika de Sala, and thank you for joining us on TMI. Okay, you were fully on the ground in the just concluded 2023 general elections, and today we are counting down to May 29. In fact, we understand that the president-elect has already constituted a transition committee to midwife the preparations and plan for the handover date. But it looks like one of the most interesting conversation now is who becomes what, particularly at the National Assembly, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. Give us your take, because the conversation now is, look, the leadership of the National Assembly must come to the South, and that's very, very strong. How is it with politicians that once election ends, the major focus will not be about who gets what, as is always the case?
Yeah, for me, it's very interesting. You know, politics is full of intrigues. And what is going on at the National Assembly today is normal, as far as I'm concerned. For those that have been elected, I will assume, or I will presume, they are men and women of honor. They can do the needful. There should not be so much interference from the politicians or even from the party. Those that have been elected should be able to elect their leaders. Now, if they want to consider the zoning system, I think we should leave that to them to consider. National Assembly is an independent arm of government, and they should be allowed to their leaders. But however, the party, the ruling party, can always make suggestions, guide them appropriately, and I'll support them in that process of making that decision. As far as I'm concerned, those that have been elected should be trusted with that responsibility. The business of checking the executive arm starts from the constitution of these members of this leadership of the National Assembly. So it starts from there. And there should be a little bit of independence in the selection of their choices. So I think they should be allowed to take their responsibility seriously. There should not be it should not be an issue of who gets what or who did not get what. So what is important is for them to look at themselves. All of them are colleagues, and they should be able to take that decision for themselves. And the only role the party will play is to just advise. Then The issue of zoning, whether the president, the Senate president should go to South East or go to South South and all those, I think it should be left to the National Assembly members to make that decision in collaboration with their political parties. But however, they should also be allowed to take that decision. It's strictly for, because the business of who leads the Senate is a serious business. It has to do with capacity, it has to do with intellectual know-how, it also has to do with experience, honestly speaking. Legislative business is better when you are experienced. And that is why in places in the Senate climb, places like United Kingdom and the United States, you see people that have been elected and re-elected and re-elected. Some of them have been in the National Assembly or in the Senate or in the Parliament for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, experience. And that experience is used to select their leaders. So that is my take on that. It comes with a whole lot of experience.
Okay, let me pause you there. I will come back to you in a moment. We'll take a short break. It's the TMI Monday, and we'll be right back. Please stay with us.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Okay, the DDay is first day at the Victor Owaifo Creative Hub, Airport Road, Benin City, the second annual public lecture of ITV Radio to mark the 26th anniversary. Let's continue with our conversation with our guest, joining us live from the UK, Honorable Pius Alele. Once again, Pius, thank you for joining us on the program. You talked about what is tenable in the civilized democracies like the UK, where we have honorable members that have stayed up to 30 years, 40 years, and all of that. But back here, it's turn by turn. You chop, I chop. What do you make of this as a trend?
Yeah, because of our political evolution, that will always be the case. But honestly speaking, if we want to get a vibrant legislator, a very vibrant legislator, as well as an experienced legislator, we cannot get that when we keep changing. House of Assembly members, when we keep voting them out, when we keep changing National Assembly members and keep voting them out, we will not get the best out of the legislative business. Honestly speaking, just imagine those that are coming for the first time now. If you take them a year or even a year and a half to learn the rudiments of lawmaking, if you take them sometime, they will have to be trained, and they will also have to learn through the process. So it takes time. And before they settle down, 2 years is gone. In the third year, they are preparing for the election. So
Okay.
We need capacity at the level of affairs.
Yeah.
You will recall a few months ago when the deputy speaker deputized for the speaker when the speaker was not around. And from diaspora the legislator wanted to raise a particular issue around diaspora agitation. And you saw the way the deputy speaker mismanaged the process. It was clear that it wasn't experienced. It was clear that he had no knowledge of even the bill that was being presented to him, even the issue that was being presented to him. And then there was opera across the country, if you will recall. And that is why you need competent people at the end of legislative business. Very competent. Otherwise, they would make full of themselves and make full of the nation.
Okay, Honorable.
That is where it is.
Honorable Aile, permutations are on already, and to an extent it seems some persons are actually pushing for to become the next Senate President or the next Speaker of the House. We saw someone from the southeastern part saying it's his turn. And it seems that that is actually turning to a norm now in our country when, when it's time to vie for a particular position. All you just need to do to get it by force is just to say it's my turn and let every other person just give way. But you actually talked about capacity, and that's my major concern. And I want to ask, you actually say education is very, very important. We have some representatives, House of Representative members, who are practically not really educated like that. So how do we make up of these people finding their way into the National Assembly?
Yeah.
So, and that's exactly what we are saying. That it is just because we are involved in politics. And I very much believe that a time will come when the party will be now begin to set up some rules. When you are going for National Assembly, they will have some, they set up some rules in line with the constitutional requirements. So, and that is what is going to happen. By the time they begin to see people they said there, they didn't even contribute to national discourse. They didn't even understand. They completely disappeared from the plenary. They didn't see them. By the time they begin to experience this kind of presentation, they begin to see that people begin to learn. The political party begin to learn.
Okay.
We need to be very careful, and we need to begin to look at the caliber and the quality of people we send to.
Okay, Honorable Pius Alile, let me just cut in here and get you to speak to a very important part of some of the points that you raised earlier. you talked about experience being a very strong factor in being able to deliver as a legislator. Abroad, we are aware that being a legislator, it's not really, it's more or less like a part-time service where you get allowance and stuff like that. What do you make of the heavy salaries and allowances of legislators, which some say seems to be a major reason why we want to do it turn by turn? You go in there, you have a chunk of the national cake, if let me put it that way, and then after 8 years, another person comes and takes over from you. In fact, in some senatorial district and constituencies, it's a taboo for anyone to seek for third term. It's a taboo for anyone to seek for third term because they feel that you've done your maximum two term of 8 years, and another person should take over from you, even though you've garnered all the experiences and what have you. We had instances where some legislators in the state made an attempt to do that. They were rebuffed, they were rejected, they were criticized, even though if they had gotten to the National Assembly this time around, they probably would have had the privilege of either becoming the Senate President, Deputy Senate President, or occupy such a very important position in the National Assembly. But because of this semi mentality of it's my turn, you've done yours, let me take my turn, and also have a chunk of the national cake. I'd like you to speak to that.
First of all, in 1999, President Obasanjo monetized some of these benefits and monetized and converted some of the benefits of National Assembly members to money. So the monetization of those benefits is what has brought about these fat salaries, fat emoluments, fat kind of benefits that they are receiving. But that should not be the main reason, that should not be the main cause of why you are seeking to represent your people. It shouldn't be. To be what you can deliver to your constituency, what you can deliver to your people. Now, as for the zoning, for me, I have to suggest that zoning should not be a consideration when it comes to nominating people for National Assembly and for House of Assembly. In view of the experience, in view of the knowledge required
Okay. A legislator that is not...
It's going to take time to get to that level of thinking that, look, in legislative business, we don't need this kind of zoning, we don't need this kind of rotation.
Okay, Honorable Alile.
Yeah. So it will take some time.
Honorable, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, now, a legislator that is not actually delivering dividends of democracy to those who elected them into office, you actually talk about those that are in the legislative business should have enough time so that they can be on ground to actually pass bills that will benefit their constituency. But for a legislator that is not actually meeting up to task, does he have any business going back there again?
But it's one of the reasons why they are being protected. And you see, now you have legislators that have been elected, just as I said, just as some of them that have been elected now. You won't hear of them anymore.
Yeah.
What is it called? 3-4 years when they are coming back from the election. See, such people can or still be voted out. I'm not holding credit for them.
Okay.
The incompetent ones will be voted out, and they are always being voted out, and that has happened so many times. You know, so for those that have performed, they should be given the benefit of re-election because, of course, they have performed, they have represented their people very well, and they should be allowed to go there 3-4 times. It doesn't really matter to me. If people 3-4 times. I know of some legislators, I don't want to mention them,
Yeah.
those states now, that deserve 3-10, even 4. But they've not, because they performed in certain areas.
Okay.
They did very well.
Okay, Honorable Ali, let's quickly talk about the countdown to May 29. Some of the key issues that are coming forth, I mean, the expectations are high on that one. But Mr. President has apologized to Nigerians, begging for forgiveness. In your opinion, isn't this an admittance to failure?
No. In governance, you make mistakes. In governance, you do something, certain things right, you did certain things wrong. I think the president has come to the realization that there were some decisions that were not palatable with the people. And as a matter of fact, them to just apologize. I think that's a sign of humility. Not an admittance of failure. That is a sign of humility and understanding with the people. That is the way I look at it. I don't think when you look at what you have done over the years,
Okay.
and take stock and decide to say, I should have done this differently. I didn't do this right. Let me just apologize.
Is that not mercy after death? Is that not mercy after death? Yes.
No, it's not necessary. You see, in governance, you learn. We learn every day. Those that are coming on board, and we learn from that.
Okay.
You understand? Then we learn from that. It's a continuum. It's a continuum. So, I'm happy that it is the same party that is coming into power now. So they should learn from the failures of this outgoing government. They cannot repeat certain things that this government did.
Okay.
So, they should learn from it. That is what that is. Our governors, that is what. Even in the Senate class, they make mistakes all the time.
So what's your...
You can see them resigning here every time over one or two issues. So they learn from it, and that is the way it is. There will always be something to learn from. Now, who is coming on board? If he comes on board, which is going to come on board, and he comes on board, and after 4 years, there will be things that you will look at. Oh, you should have done this right. There will always be issues, and those issues we learn from them. That's my position. That's my position.
All right, Mbapas Alile, I really want to thank you for your time with us on TMI on ITV Network. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Take care. Have a nice day.
It's a TMI on the ITV Network.